Today I'm going to compare and contrast the pros and cons of making a bonsai from scratch versus starting with a pre-made bonsai. Now, full disclosure, I am a complete beginner. I was recently inspired when I had a bonsai master on my podcast. His name is Ryan Neal. He's the founder of Bonsai Mirai. I'll include a link to our conversation down below if you're interested. But I walked away from that really wanting to try bonsai, but because I am a complete beginner, I wasn't really sure which one was better. Getting one from scratch that I create all myself, going to the nursery and finding a piece of stock that I like, or just buying one online that's pre-made and it saves me a bunch of time. So I have been filming my entire experience so that I can let you know which one I did like better and the pros and cons of each. So let's get right into it. First, let's start with my pre-made bonsai. This was really easy. All I did was go to 1-800-Flowers. Yes, they do in fact sell all sorts of amazing houseplants. I was blown away as well. They don't just do flowers. And I ordered a pre-made bonsai. And that was basically that. So that part was really easy. Moving over to the other side, to my from scratch bonsai. I went to my local Lowe's and I kind of perused around searching for a specimen that I thought would do well as a bonsai. I didn't have a particular species in mind, but I knew I wanted something evergreen. I wanted something that would be forgiving for a beginner, and all of the blunders that I knew I would be making with this bonsai. After looking for a while at all sorts of different things, I did decide on this ground cover juniper. As a side note, I did also snag a rosemary as well. I saw someone on Instagram showing off their rosemary that they had made into a bonsai. I just thought it would be a fun little like side quest, but just so you know, I'm not going to be focusing on that in today's video. The really nice thing about my from scratch bonsai is that there was no shipping time, no waiting time. I just went to my Lowe's, found something I liked, and brought it right home with me, and I was set to go. I would have started right away, but I did want to be prepared and I didn't want to kill my bonsai, so I gave it a few days to acclimate to the environment of my backyard. And in the meantime, I studied all I could about bonsai junipers, and I did this on Bonsai Mirai's app. They have this whole educational app that you can sign up for. There's like different tiers depending on what level you are. I signed up for the beginner level. I was learning so much from those courses. Highly recommend if you're a beginner. Honestly, I highly recommend for anyone in bonsai. The creator of it, Ryan Neal, who I mentioned at the beginning, is a bonsai master, so he can teach experts at bonsai as well as beginners like me. After taking some time to study, I grabbed the only clippers I had, which were my garden shears and a pair of wire cutters, and I got to work with all that education in my mind running in the background. So I did start with my rosemary plant because I figured not much could go wrong with this one and it wasn't the main focus. I just wanted to build my confidence. And at the end, I had a nice pile of rosemary and I did end up drying it and adding it to my spice cabinet, which was kind of fun that it had a whole other utility to this bonsai. Moving on to the juniper. For you, the viewer, it may not look like much happened for this juniper. As I studied, I was taught that compact junipers, their energy is in their foliar mass. So I was really trying not to go too crazy, but it was super relaxing. I really enjoyed my time outside in nature, just pruning my bonsai, and I felt myself really get into a rhythm. In fact, I did record myself after I had initially finished pruning my from scratch bonsai, and here's what I had to say. Okay, I think I'm finished. Gotta turn off my music here, but it's been like a relaxing, probably, gosh, what time is it? Like hour and a half that I've been out here working with the rosemary and then this one. I feel like it is really hard to tell what I've done, but a whole lot did come off. You can see all of the material here. That's just a piece of it. A whole lot has come off. So I do have to say it was very gratifying to go through the whole process of learning about junipers, going through like the courses on my phone and on my computer, and then to finally go in and try working with it. I know there's going to be bumps along the way, but it's been really satisfying and it was really calming to spend so much time with this plant. I'm going to stop here so that I can hopefully continue to work with it throughout, the next years and years, and hopefully this is like a bonsai that can grow with me. Definitely already has a special place in my heart, being the very first one that I'm ever starting out from scratch. But those are just kind of my honest thoughts, starting one from the beginning, from the very start. And so of course I'll give you my thoughts on the one that's pre-made, come up with the pros and cons that I have personally seen. And to my delight, the very next day, my pre-made bonsai, the one I had ordered from 1-800-Flowers, arrived the very next day that I had pruned my from scratch bonsai. I got a very similar species to the bonsai I got from Lowe's, and so I felt very confident going into it. This one was a bit easier to envision as I pruned because it was already formed. It was mostly just tidying up, not removing too much of that foliar mass like I mentioned earlier, and very similar to the previous one, I had an amazing time just relaxing, pruning, and getting into a groove. And I also recorded my thoughts after I had finished the pre-made bonsai after pruning it, and here's what I had to say. So I just finished with my pre-made bonsai from 1-800-Flowers. First of all, this tree is like phenomenally healthy, very well packaged and everything. So if you guys are ever in the market for not just like pre-made bonsais, but even houseplants as well, I'd recommend 1-800-Flowers. It's like not a company that I would think would have like great houseplants. I just think of flowers, but they do houseplants as well, and this bonsai has been amazing. But since I have finished this one, I'm just like loving the way it looks. I know it has like a long way to go and so much more to explore with it, but I'm loving that it's actually like looking like a bonsai tree. Whereas my other one, it's gonna take a little bit of time and effort and some love to get it to a stage like this. So that's just some initial thoughts right there. So now my bonsais are resting. I'm trying to take my time with them so I don't kill them, first and foremost. So I plan to repot my from scratch bonsai in springtime when its roots can bounce back in the most ideal way. But they are both doing amazing. No dieback has happened, and they are hanging in there just fine, which is a win for me. So let's go ahead and take a step back. Let's look at the overall picture and compare the pros and cons of our from scratch bonsai versus the pre-made bonsai. More specifically, I want to compare the time spent on each, the money spent on each, as well as my level of satisfaction with each bonsai. My from scratch bonsai that I got from Lowe's, it took me about an hour total to get to the store, peruse around the store, and then get back home. And perhaps another 45 minutes of pruning and kind of figuring out what I was doing. While my pre-made juniper bonsai took me about 10 minutes to order, and then about the same time spent pruning as well, about 45 minutes. The total cost for my from scratch bonsai, it cost $37 at Lowe's to get that ground covered juniper, and maybe about $3 in gas, while the pre-made juniper bonsai was $75 on 1-800-Flowers.com. But for you, it'd probably be less, because I did ask them if they have any sort of discounts that I could offer my viewers, and they so kindly provided me one, and you can find that link down in the description. And lastly, my levels of satisfaction with each. This one was hard because I really loved them both, but for different reasons. What I mean by that is the impatient part of me really loved seeing the pre-made juniper bonsai, that it already looked like a bonsai and I didn't have to do much to get it there. But for the from scratch bonsai, I know once I actually get it looking like a bonsai down the road in the future, I'm gonna have just supreme levels of satisfaction because I created that all on my own. No one else was involved with that. So both of them do get a 10 out of 10 for levels of satisfaction, even though they are quite different. So after doing this whole experiment of working with both of them, and I will be continuing to work with both of them, here's my very humble opinion as a beginner in bonsai. If you are a complete beginner like me, and you want to dive into bonsai and you have the budget for it, I would recommend getting one online from somewhere like 1-800-Flowers, for instance. You're able to work with it and make it look really nice. It gives you that satisfaction without the years of effort. But if you have already tried bonsai and you know you like it and you want to get more into it, the from scratch one is extremely satisfying and can really tug and push the boundary of what your capabilities and limits are. And also I feel like it allows you more room to be creative. And this is also a really good option if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend as much money as a pre-made bonsai. So if you fall more into the line of you're on a budget, or if you're more down for a learning adventure, I might recommend going for the from scratch bonsai. So it kind of depends on what angle you're coming from. And as I think about it, I don't know if you can go wrong by just trying a bonsai. For this being my first time, I found it so satisfying and fun. I've been putting it off for years because I've been afraid that I would make mistakes, but just taking the dive right in has been so enjoyable. And I am certain if you're someone who likes plants, it will be enjoyable for you too. So I hope you found this video helpful. Perhaps I'll do later videos continuing my journey as a complete beginner with these junipers. But if you want more content surrounding plants, feel free to subscribe. I'm always trying to come out with content to help people interested in the plant world like yourself.